Good evening and welcome to the Artist Poet Cafe. It is where artists come alive. The spoken words bring forth the inner creation of hidden treasures, expressing tones of lyrics felt within the soul, and vibrations that ring stories untold. This platform represents artists of all backgrounds, be it writers, singers, spoken word, artistic expressions and painting, literature, poetry, and a journey through life. Mystery seeks to bring new ideas and opportunities through the mind at all levels. Wherefore my time leaving tomorrow on the wings of yesterday, where birds fly higher than the mystery of dreams never knew. Why do mellow sounds ring silently without ever leaving memories of my lonely blues? We walk by the calls of nature, sing in harmony, pray for the love of the sky. Dance with the stars like a feminine ballerina gazing across the stage in her soft-toed ballerina shoes. Welcome to the Artist Poetry Cafe show, Poetically Speaking, hosted by Terry Benjamin and Ron C. McCrae. As delighted as we are, we can't wait to engulf new wave of presenting this platform to our audience. So, sit back and enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Now, let's get started.
I'd like to start with a song that's going to bring us to our agenda for today. And it reads, I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all the obstacles in my way. Gone all the dark clouds that had me blind. It's going to be a bright, sunshiny day. And that's from the song that was released in 1972, written by Johnny Nash. It's entitled, I Can See Clearly Now. And this is the agenda for today. I can see clearly now. We're going to bring some ideas to expand upon that particular theme. And I want to go into the quote of the day. And the quote of the day says, it's time to start living the life you've imagined. And this is from Henry James, American author. Let me say that again. It's time to start living the life you've imagined. And Henry James, an American author. And we talk about living the life that you imagine. We're talking about what you're doing right now. And again, I want to go to the Bible. And it says here, James 1, 3, and 4, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete and not lacking anything. I always say that you really could use this dictionary to be educated. Just imagine if you went through this dictionary like Malcolm X went through it. He called it his homemade education because he read all these words and all these definitions. And so I look in the book here and I see the word perseverance. And it simply means persistence in doing something despite difficulty or delay in achieving success. And so again, we're all about success on this program. We're all about trying to help you be the best person that you possibly can be. And to that end, we present you with some food for thought, some topics for discussion. And so welcome. Welcome to Poetically Speaking. And as always, we begin with Ron's poetry. Ron, what do you have for us today?
Well, you know what? Even the topic for today is really interesting because there's a lot of pieces, and I just like to give one piece based on what you expressed. Okay. I can see clearly now.
Yes.
And even as you express from the Bible perspective, and you can find the same thing in the Torah, the Quran, or even in Buddha's book. No matter how you look at it. But here in the Bible, for an example, which covers three categories of background, whether it's Judaism, whether it's Christians or Islam.
Whatever.
Okay, so when God said to Abraham, he told him to pack his stuff and leave, go to a certain place. And Sarah didn't hesitate. But as he done what God has told him to do, okay, and expressed to him in a conversation, he said, as far as your eyes can see, all many nations, and I'm just kind of paraphrasing, but many nations, as far as your eyes can see, the father of many nations.
Mm.
So the many nations is majority.
Mhm.
The one portion that you see or hear or have read about
Mhm.
really
Mhm.
narrows down, from my perspective now,
Yes, yes.
is Islam.
Mm.
Okay, because again, Ishmael, which is Abraham's son,
Mhm.
giving him a nation, which is again Islam.
Mhm.
Okay, but again, that's from my understanding. Now you can get into it and ask others from that perspective,
Mhm. Mhm.
get clarity on it.
That's
I'm
right.
just giving it to you from my understanding.
Mhm.
And now if I'm wrong, come back and tell me. But nevertheless, my point is here is that he said, Father of many nations, as far as your eyes can see.
Mhm.
Can you see, or your eyes open?
Mhm.
Are you listening, or are you paying attention?
Mhm. Mhm. That's a good point, but again, you have to understand that when we talk about living the life that you imagine, a lot of times we have some big ideas for ourselves, we have big goals for ourselves, and then what happens, once we get a little pushback, we change our plans. But again, the Bible says, and Wiseman and other books says, you have to stick with it. You have to be persistent, because in the final analysis, that's what's going to win the day, your persistence. If you shy away at the first pushback or the first obstacle, you're not going to be successful. And so again, today's agenda, I can see clearly now.
And I just want to also, we can, and I, no matter how you look at it, everything that we may come back with may sound to be repeated, but each time we present something, there's a different message in it.
Yeah.
So don't ever get it twisted thinking, well, I heard that before. No,
Mhm.
you woke up yesterday, but did you wake up tomorrow? Well, you haven't seen tomorrow.
That's right.
So something changed in the present,
Yes.
and that's what's important. So I just wanted to give the topic of this one, just in short, the moment of consciousness.
Mm.
So even as you indicated, I can see clearly now, and the topic for discussion
Yes, yes.
is a moment of consciousness. Defining consciousness is a pivotal in rendering one's thought beyond self. Where am I? Time passes through the wind tunnel, traveling in many directions without the answer to its whereabouts or purpose.
Mhm.
Consciousness is the inward body of the soul.
Right.
By searching deep, one will explore hidden molecules within the core of the wall lining as the membranes speak in a language coded by electrical impulse. All this ties into even the topic, and even as we continue to move forward in our discussion today. Can you see? And are you blind?
That's right.
Do you have something in your eyes? Did you use the wiper to clear away the what we call, when you wake up to sleep and all that other
Yeah,
stuff?
get that-
You know,
that jar, yeah.
absolutely. So that's what's important.
That's right. And the thing is, again, we're talking about the fact that you need to believe in your dreams. And I'm going to get into this book a little later when I go to the Mind, Body, and Books segment. But I just want to share this. This is from a book by Jolley, and it's called Turn Setbacks into Greenbacks. And I just want to address this. He speaks about believing in your dreams. And this is a subtitle that says here, Believe in the Power of Your Dreams. Dreams are the seeds for success. You have to have a dream. Every single success story I have ever read or heard about talks about the power of dreams. Scriptures says without a vision, the people perish. Yet what goes unsaid is that with a vision, a people will flourish. You must have a vision. You must have a dream, a goal of what is possible in the future, and not solely dwell on what is going on today. Dreams and goals give us hope for the future and give us the will to keep on going in spite of present problems. What is going on today doesn't have to be what's going on tomorrow. That's why you have to imagine for yourself a better life, because we'll get past this. But again, what is that getting past this going to look like? That's what I want you to think about. That's what I want you to focus on as we go through the program tonight. What do you see after all this chaos, after all this darkness, after all this political and universal turmoil? Let's look beyond that. what you see beyond that. And imagine that and let that sustain you through these very dark times.
Even for myself, and Terry knows periodically something pops up, something hits you, something sparks something, and I write about something.
That's right.
And so I want to share this because I was reading something where the thought came to me, and I want to read this as I've written it this morning, I believe, or this afternoon.
Wow, okay.
But it's important, and I hopefully and prayerfully that everybody think about what I read. So let me read this.
Yes.
And matter of fact, it kind of spun off from the book we shared last time with Frederick Douglass. What to a slave is the 4th of July,
That's right.
independence.
That's right.
Here is what is freedom to a black person. What is freedom to a black person? African Americans in a land that isn't their own, a land that was built and shaped through violence, be it lash, crucifixion, and incarceration until their spirit is broken. What symbolizes a freedom that reflects the lifestyle handed down from a higher spiritual power, which grants life and allows one to enjoy it abundantly, thereby fulfilling their purpose? Seek that which is unlocked through a mental state of clarity, freshness, vibrancy, and freedom. Freedom from feeling trapped deep inside an empty vessel with no exit, searching for opportunities to guide the flow of potentials, gifts, and blessings. A blessing that brings joy and prosperity to everyday life. The pleasure of being creative, showcasing talent, cooking, sewing, gardening, whatever it takes to find freedom in life's hand. Freedom to a black person is life, a powerful, glorious feeling that goes far beyond what anyone can imagine. It's the foundation of equal justice for all who strive to rise from despair and cruelty. A burning pain in the heart that reaches beyond chaos and suffering, often leading to a moment of surrender. Freedom is like a gentle breeze that quietly moves through valleys of whispering sounds, a way to forget where you are because each step is so soft that no one trying to stop you notices. Freedom walks a path less traveled, away from loud noise towards the peaceful serenity of spiritual freedom. What is freedom, and how can it be defined? Where no chains, bells, whipping posts, or echoes lined in the memory of their soul. Freedom in my soul is a legacy of stories untold. The scab of whelps across my backside, praying for my tears to weep silently in a world beyond the galaxy, never to hear a cry.
Wow.
That is so important because, again, this is from remarks and thoughts, as we say, where there's no vision, my people perish. So as we look back in our history to see where you come from and where our ancestors come from, where we are at today and what we need to do tomorrow is so important. It's about the vision. It's about seeing. It's about understanding. And that's what's important. So as we continue to move forward in this podcast, as well as each and every day that we are allowed to come back, we will continue to engage our perspective with you, and we look for your comments to engage in the conversation so we can collaborate and help one another continue to grow, rise up, and move forward. Because dreams is only dead if you don't wake up and understand the vision that has been given to you. And the book that we just read to you and the title of it, that he's going to come back and repeat it again, is important for clarity to understand what the message is all about.
That's true. And we have with us this evening Derek Hawkins. And Derek says, "Good evening, gentlemen." Good evening to you, my brother. Let's move into the Mind, Body, and Books segment. And I want to go to two books that I have with me this evening. One book is from an author that we discussed last week, as Dr. Dennis Kimbro. I see Aretha Foster Bram is out there. She's just watch later because she's traveling right now. But this book here that I want to present to you is called The Wealth Choice: Success Secrets of Black Millionaires. And this is from Dr. Dennis Kimbro. And again, this book is really based on interviews that he's done with black millionaires. And in this book, he interviews Bob Johnson, Spike Lee, Steve Harvey, Herman Cain, T.D. Jakes, and Tyrese Gibson. And I like this one segment in here that he has in the book here. And I thought this was very focused in terms of what we need to maybe put our mind to. He gives us here the 7 laws of wealth. And again, the first law of wealth, wealth begins in the mind but ends in the purse. Second law of wealth, decide that you will not be poor. Third law of wealth, believe in thyself when no one else will. Fourth law of wealth, to thy own self be true, find your unique gifts. Fifth law of wealth, how may I serve you? Sixth law of wealth, thou shalt own thy own business. And the seventh law of wealth, make thy money grow. So you see, there's a process. There's some things that you have to do, because again, we have the idea of a vision, and as we move toward our vision, what happens? It becomes clearer and clearer, and that's why we say tonight, tonight's agenda is I can see clearly now. And I just want to read this part from the book here. This is from page 68. And the book here turns setbacks into greenbacks. And this is from Mr. Willie Jolley. And he says here on page 68, you can't sit there waiting for success to come to you. If you fail, then try again. Start over and keep trying. Just do something positive toward your goal. Don't wait, or it just may be too late. Take action. And remember, massive success is always the best revenge. Because as you go through your journey, you may do things, and people might see you do things and say, that will never work. And you can listen to them and stop your flow, or you can just ignore them and go on about your journey. Because people don't know what is possible. And especially, brothers and sisters, community, please, please, please do not listen to people who haven't done what you're trying to do. How can they tell you it's not possible when they haven't done it? So don't listen to people. This is the point, Ron. You can't share your dreams with everybody, because for some of them it's impossible. But the adage is, it's impossible until it is done. Because once it is done by one person, it's easier for the next person to do it. Like in track and field, they have records. One person breaks the record, and guess what? Then another person comes and they top that record. So the thing that I'm saying to you, and the thing that I want you to keep in mind, is that as we go through our life, never give up on your dreams. Because again, it may not happen tomorrow, it may not happen the next day, but if you are persistent, it's going to come. And also understand this, it may not come in the way that you want it to come. Because some people, they have their eyes on the prize, and they see the prize in a certain way, and then it comes back in a different way, they might not appreciate it. But sometimes you have to understand that the way things work out, it may not be exactly what you want, but it's so close to it that you can say, I did it. I did it. It's like, when you're walking, let's say you're doing some exercise, you say, I'm gonna go around this park 5 times. That's just 5 miles. And when you start, it's drudgery. But as you start whipping around, as you start getting stronger, you realize that, whoa, I've done 5 miles plus, because it just felt so good to be out there and move your arms and legs and that kind of thing. And so I'm saying to you, understand that sometimes opportunity comes in work clothes. And a lot of people don't understand that. Even though you're in reaching distance of your goal, but there may be just another mile to get to that. it's sad, sometimes when back in the day when people were mining gold, they would dig deep, and then they would dig to a certain point, and they said, well, you know what, there's nothing here. Then someone else comes on, they dig a little deeper, and they hit that gold. They find that gold. You could have had it, but you gave up, like you're at a casino, and you're doing it in your slot machine. You're pulling and whatnot, and nothing happening for you. You walk away, and there's all these bells and everything, and somebody said that your machine, and they got their jackpot. It's a hurting thing.
Also to piggyback, one of the most important things is that stop looking, even though the Bible and God says as far as your eyes can see, but you also have to understand where you're standing. Mm-hmm. Where you're standing, where you are at now, do you have the faith and trust without the doubt to believe that the next step I take, I am guided and I am supported? Yes, because the word says, upon this rock I shall stand. All others is sinking sand. Right. But that cannot exist unless you believe and have faith. So I just also want to tie in a couple of things.
Yeah, please.
Book here says Lessons of Love. Now, Lessons of Love covers a variety, whether you're romantic, dating, married, kids, whatever. But in your dreams, your vision, this is what we want to talk about. So I just want to read this one piece because my brother here had said something which is true in reference to others killing your, I kind of use my words, killing your opportunity, your dream. Yeah, but it ties in. And this one here says, to be happy, you must risk unhappiness. Since you are not alone on a desert island, you are sometimes influenced by the opinions of others. And I have a serious problem with that. Everybody got an opinion.
That's right. Opinion.
Which may be in contrast to your own. When you go with your heart in matters of love, you are bound to displease or upset other people. Yes. Listen to your heart. The unhappiness may be temporarily, but your happiness can be permanent. The question is, do you want to be happy?
Yeah, and it takes courage. It takes courage to go out there and to plan a road for yourself, to plan a life for yourself that's going to result in something. And I find that as I look back on not just my life, but the other life, I'm at the age where I've seen some people their whole story from birth to the end. And so I have a different perspective, and that's why I read James 3 and 4. I read that scripture when I was a child, but now that I'm a mature man, it makes it hits a little different. It means more because I have the maturity to understand it from a different perspective, and that's why it's really a pleasure to go back into our history, going back into our culture, and present our music in a different way. The songs that I share in Music is Lit are songs I dance to, romance to, and everything else. But the point that I'm making is that now it's a little different. It's something that I could understand when I was listening to this music. I was a teenager, sometimes a preteen. I didn't know exactly what it meant, but now that I've grown older, I understand. And so I want to start with a song by Michael Jackson. And again, in this segment, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to look at relationships and look at special people. Last segment, I talked about Larry Graham's 1 in a Million You. But what happens when you find that 1 in a million? You have to romance that woman or that man. You have to make sure things stay together. And so you got to make that person special and make that person feel special. And so you might play something like this. The Lady in My Life. This is Michael Jackson, 1982. And he says, and he sings, there'll be no darkness tonight. Lady, our love will shine, lighting the night. Just put your trust in my heart and meet me in paradise. Now is the time. Girl, you're every wonder in this world to me. A treasured time won't steal away. So listen to my heart. Lay your body close to mine. Let me fill you with my dreams. I can make you feel all right. And baby, through the years, going to love you more each day. So I promise you tonight that you will always be the lady in my life. Lay back in my tenderness. Let's make this a night we won't forget. Girl, I need your sweet caress. Reach out to a fantasy, two hearts in a beat of ecstasy. Come to me, girl, and I will keep you warm through the shadows of the night. Let me touch you with my love. I can make you feel so right. And baby, through the years, and even when we're old and gray, I will love you more each day, 'cause you will always be the lady in my life. And I like that line where he says here, even when we're old and gray. You know, so it's interesting. I don't think anybody gets married that we will grow old together, that we'll be together forever, and sometimes due to divorce, sometimes due to the death of a spouse. You know, we don't reach that goal. Richard Medley Richard Medley is watching. Hello, Richard, and good to have you with us. And I continue with this love song. And this is from one of my favorite artists, you know, brother. He made so many records in his heyday that you don't have to make any new records because we're still dealing with that. And I tell you, Ron, there's some things that he wrote that I'm just understanding now. Okay, and one of those songs is "You and I," and of course, this is by Stevie Wonder, and this is from 1972. And Stevie says, and I quote, "Here we are on earth together. It's you and I. God has made us fall in love, it's true. I really found someone like you. Will it stay? The love you feel for me, will it stay? That you will be by my side to see me through until my life is through. Well, in my mind, we can conquer the world. In love, you and I, you and I, you and I. I am glad, at least in my life, I found someone that may not be here forever to see me through, but I found strength in you. I only pray that I have shown you a brighter day, because that's all I am living for, you see. Don't worry what happens to me, because in my mind, you will stay here always. In love, you and I, you and I, you and I. In my mind, we can conquer the world. In love, you and I, you and I, you and I. And as I read it, I can hear Stevie's harmonica in the background, okay? And this last song is, again, one of my favorite artists. And again, he before his death, they had produced a documentary on his life. And I've seen many documentaries, but this documentary that was produced on the life of this artist is like the definitive. I mean, if you want to see a good documentary about a great man, I would say find Still Bill, which talks about the life of Bill Withers. And again, you can probably get it for free because you go to YouTube and get it. So it's Still Bill. And in that particular film, he talks about his wife and he talks about his daughter. And it's a beautiful experience. Ruby Shivers, she said, "My kings, enjoying your message." Thank you so much, Queen Ruby Shivers. And again, and this is a very special collaboration. And this is Bill Withers and Grover Washington Jr. I mean, this is just a great collaboration. And this is from the LP Wine Light. And again, it's Bill Withers with Grover Washington Jr. It's from 1980, and it's called Just the Two of Us. And before I go into it, it's interesting because Will Smith does a variation on that when he talks about his son and just the two of them. But this is the original, Just the Two of Us. And Bill begins, he says here, I see the crystal raindrops fall, and the beauty of it all when the sun comes shining through. To make those rainbows in my mind when I think of you sometime, and I want to spend some time with you. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Building castles in the sky. Just the two of us. You and I. We look for love, no time for tears. Wasted water's all that is. And it and don't make no flowers grow. Good things might come to those who wait, not for those who wait too late. We got to go for all we know, just the two of us. We can make it if we try, just the two of us, just the two of us, just the two of us, building them castles in the sky, just the two of us, you and I. I hear the crystal raindrops fall on the windows down the hall, and it becomes the morning dew. And darling, when the morning comes and I see the morning sun, I want to be the one with you. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Just the two of us, building big castles way on high. Just the two of us, you and I. Just the two of us. We can make it. Just the two of us. Let's get it together, baby. Just the two of us. We can make it. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Again, that's, of course, from Bill Withers. And again, it is so important that we follow the visions in our mind. The picture that we have in our mind is something that we got to keep alive. Jesse Jackson used to say, keep hope alive. What I'm saying to you, man, keep your vision alive. Man, keep that vision. No matter we going through some dark days, some dark times, but keep that vision in your mind, because that's what you're going to see when we get through all this madness that we're going through. So what say you, my brother?
You know, I want to read something, but in short, I want to go back to what I find that's important, and for all our listeners is to take heed to. And that is, too often, you know, a lot of authors and writers and poets and whoever, you know, famous people interview famous people.
Yes.
One of the most important things, and I think we need to keep in mind and really consider, and I think we try to do that, is to have a diverse group of backgrounds and people, is to start having or interviewing some of the young adults, some of the teens, have them on your podcast, on your show, hear their voices, guide them, walk with them, talk with them, and let them speak. The only time, for the most part, I'm not saying 100, is all of a sudden, like when there's a news station and somebody on the news want to say, oh, well, we have this young person, 7, 8, 9 years old, and they become inventive. But outside of that, what platform are you presenting to them, preparing for them to also have the same opportunity, no matter how you look at it? And because we're working on it, and I hope and pray that you are working on your part. Have the young ones, hear their voices. There are some ones out there with poets that are poets, writers, inventors, talent. They're just looking for an opportunity. Hear this other one, as you were talking about, in reference to your vision. This one here is from, I presented before, The Gospel of Good Success by Kirby John H. Caldwell. Okay, many may have heard and many may not have heard. Okay, but nevertheless, The Gospel of Good Success. So here, I just want to read this. There are visionaries among you. Listen to their wisdom. The Bible states, without a vision, people perish. I have discovered that without the right people, a vision can perish as well. Once God gives you your vision and you began your faith walk, you never walk alone. Others appear to walk at your side. People with talent, crucial to your cause, appear. At this point, during your journey, your faith walking will attract other faith walkers. It didn't say what age, other faith walker. Kids follow you, teenagers, young adults. You know, everybody, life started with a leader. God has became our creator. He started with us. He created. From that point on, then you have those who follow. But as I said here, you see, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. Where there's no vision, where there is wisdom, follow those who are guided with some wisdom and knowledge. We don't know everything.
That's right. We don't.
We listen to you. You guide us. You listen to us. We guide each other. We're learning something new. Each time we have a guest on this show, we learn something new. We give an opportunity, and that's what it's all about. How do we continue to help one another fulfill their wisdom and knowledge that has been given to them? Because too many don't realize they have the wisdom and knowledge. You're just looking for an opportunity.
That's so true. And again, we talk about Queen Ruby Chavez, and she has young people come on her show, and to share what they know, what they've learned from their teachers, and it's so important. Collaboration, like my brother said, that as you move toward what you're going to do, guess what? You attract people along the way. And last program we talked about the 3 Ps in terms of love, relationships, and it was got kind of controversial. Everybody has an idea about that, but here I want to talk about the 3 Ps for success, and this is from the book that I referenced before. It's called Turn Setbacks into Greenbacks, and this is from Willie Jolley. And so we talked about the 3 Ps in terms of romance, but now let's talk about the 3 Ps to prosperity. And it says here, these are the 3 Ps: pray, plan, and pursue. First, you should be humble enough to make time to pray, because prayer changes things. Prayer leads to hope, and you need hope to succeed, especially in challenging times. Scripture says, we know that tribulation produces perseverance, and perseverance, character, and character, hope. You must have hope, and prayer will lead to hope. Don't be too proud to pray, because prayer can empower and strengthen you for the journey. And it goes here, it says, prayer for what you want, and be willing to ask God to bless you. But God can't bless you unless you're doing something. So again, that first P is prayer. And then you have to plan. Next, you must plan. Plan your work and work your plan. If you want to create wealth, it is critical that you plan. Your plan can be fluid and flexible, but you need to have a business plan and an action plan. No great building was ever built without a blueprint, and no great army wins without a battle plan. You too should have a plan. You might have to make adjustments and changes as you go along, but at least you know where you are going. Along with planning, you must position yourself so you're ready when the economy comes back. Wayne Gretzky said that the key to master success was always positioning. He said, a good hockey player plays where the puck is. A great hockey player plays where the puck is going to be. Successful people position themselves where the money is going to be, not where it is now. Get in position now for the comeback. And the final P is to pursue, because you prayed for what you wanted, you planned for what you wanted, but now you got to go out and get it. And so again, finally, you must pursue, to go after it with all your might. Most people are waiting for their ships to come in, but the wise ones are swimming out to their ships. I will say this over and over and over again. First, you must pray, and then you must get up and go to work. When you get red hot on your goal and pursue it, I believe you will find that things will start to happen that you could not imagine. If you want wealth in your life, you need to make the commitment to pursue, pray, and then move your feet. And they say nothing comes to a dreamer but a dream, but I beg to differ with that. Everything comes to a dreamer if he believes in his dream. I always say, are you committed or are you just interested? Because if you're just interested, you're not going to go too far. But if you're committed, that's going to bring you past all the obstacles. Because I always say, Ron, I know when I always say again, when I was 9 years old, I told my mother I wanted to be a writer. And I didn't know exactly what I was saying. All I knew was that I read books and I liked books, and maybe I could write a book one day. I didn't realize how much work it would take to do that. But because I was so passionate about it, that the work didn't make any difference to me, because I was determined to write in different genres and produce work that I could be proud of, that I could share with others. But I sometimes, even now, don't think about all the work that goes into even just putting this show together. But I do it. It's a labor of love, because it's something that I want to pursue. And so I pray about it. I plan about it, and I pursue what I've planned. And so again, as we go through the program. We're not done yet, but I just want you to take a moment just to sort of let all that sink in. You know, meditate on that. You know, ruminate on that. Take that into your mind. Breathe it into your spirit, because I want you all to be successful. I mean, all that I want for myself, I want twice as much for you. And I stand on that. And again, I've been mentored, but I've also been a mentor to others. And it's just like a full circle, Ron. You know, you put something out and you get it back, but you get it back in ways that you could never imagine. You know, I've done things for people and I've gotten it back in ways that blew my mind. I never thought that I would be doing this or doing that, but I put myself out there and it came back to me in ways that I could never imagine. But nothing would have happened if I hadn't put it out there.
And you know, and it starts there. And just to, again, tap into that, every element of life, from the moment you wake up, somebody helped you wake up. You didn't do it on your own. We didn't just wake up. The air we breathe, the thoughts, dreams, and visions come with the vibration, the energy that flows through our body, our mind. Dreams are important. They're important because they help you to understand something, good, bad, or indifferent.
That's right. That's right.
It's not for everybody to be all traumatized and lose their mind, but to understand what is this message. It's not for you to sit there and you know, focus on it, but understand something negative happened. But then in the same token, something positive happened.
That's right. That's right.
And then in something negative also can also be something positive,
That's
or
right.
vice versa. So, but in the moment, it's about using the time and energy that you have to be creative with whatever it is. It doesn't matter what culture you're from around the world. Doesn't matter. Every culture, every ethnicity has the exact same thing. That's why we're here to learn from you. You learn from us. It doesn't matter. It's about your vision. Do you have a vision? Do you think? Can you see? Do you have an idea? You know, did you pick up something? Did you try something? You can't do it alone. We can't do it alone.
That's right.
Because you can't crochet without the needle and thread. But who made the needle and who made the thread?
Oh, that's a good
You see
point.
what I'm saying? We got books, but you wrote the story, but somebody edited it.
That's right.
Somebody created the cover.
That's right.
Somebody
That's right.
created the
Just
front
put it
cover.
together,
You didn't
yeah.
do it alone.
Yeah.
Your name is on it. You might be the author, but the fact is it took more than one of somebody. So anybody and everybody works together, it makes a difference. No building, unless somebody can prove me wrong. Show me a building that was built without hands. Show me a building that was built by one hand. Show me a building that was built with just one material that you created. And if you only have one material, where that material come from? Because somebody created it, somebody made it.
Oh,
So the
man.
bottom line is about a puzzle, pulling all the pieces together. This is what we talk about.
That's right.
You know, we try to make things as clear as possible, but also simple as possible. We're not here to trying to come up with some Oxford dictionary, some big words, whatever the case may be. That's all well and good. But at the end of the day, the definitions of those big words come right back to something simple. Either you did or you didn't. Either you do or you don't. You either swim or you drown. The choice is yours. What do you want to do? Live or die?
Yeah. That's so true. And again, we come with the proposition that success leave clues. Again, this book right here is based on the interviews that Dr. Dennis Kimbro did with black millionaires. And one of the millionaires in the book is Steve Harvey. And I just want to share this from Steve Harvey in his own words. And he says here, this is Steve Harvey. He says here, I wanted to be on television since I was 9 years old, but I didn't make it until I was 38. When my classmates laughed at my dream, it wouldn't be the last that skeptics would doubt my talents and abilities, but I'm here now. Make your own choices before life makes them for you. Decide now how to utilize your talents and gifts. Lose the misconception that you cannot be anything you set your mind to. Instead, lead with your strengths. When I look back over the course of my career, I know there was nothing else I was born to do. I was made to lift the spirits of others, and television and radio were the media that allowed me to do it. It took a while, but that's what I do. I really can't imagine doing anything else. And again, whether you hate him or love him, he set out to do what he did, and he did it on a very high level, and he still continues to do that. And so again, understand that sometimes, all the time, you need mentors. You need somebody who's done it before you've done it. And I know for myself, Ron, I've had many mentors, but some of the greatest mentors I had were the mentors that I found in books. I had the pleasure of actually meeting Dr. Dennis Kimbro. I was at a conference in Newark. I got a chance to meet him and shake his hand and spend time with him. I actually had lunch with the man and had his wisdom during the conference, but actually sit down with him on one-to-one and talk to this man and have him share his wisdom with me. And one of the things he said, and he repeats here in the book here, and he says here, you will never rise above your level of belief and self-esteem. Let me say it again. You will never rise above your level of belief and self-esteem. Do you believe that you can do it? Do you think you deserve it? It's so many times that we sabotage ourselves because we don't feel that we're worthy. We don't feel we're worthy of this accolade, that we're worthy of this prize. Get that out of your head, Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself to the point where when you get that golden parachute, when you get whatever you are striving for, that you feel so good inside yourself that you said, you know what, I deserve this. I worked hard for it. I've had help along the way, but I stuck with it. I exercised perseverance. And again, there's so many people who've done that. I mean, there's stories of Steve Harvey actually sleeping in his car. There's stories here of Les Brown. When he was in school, he was considered retarded. Mm-hmm. He was retarded, and he has gone on to become one of the greatest motivational speakers ever. And in the top 10 motivational speakers, he has to be in the top 5. But if he would have listened to people say, well, you know what, you'll never rise into heights because, your brain doesn't work right, But he persisted, and he's still going strong. He's in his 80s now, but he's still teaching. He's still being of service. I find one of the things about being successful, sometimes the greater you're of service, the more that you make, because people value what you have to give them. And that's why you really have to humble yourself to be of service. It's not always about you. How can you help others? And one of the things in the book, they ask, how can I be of service? How can I help humanity? How can I help humankind? Because when I do that, I help myself. And so, yes, Think and Grow Rich. This book is based on the principles he's found in this book. Last week, my brother presented a book called, Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice. And this here is The Wealth Choice, Secrets of Black Billionaires. So again, it's your choice. It's your choice. Are you going to pursue your dreams, or are you going to give up at the first obstacle? And I tell you, that weight of regret is very, very heavy. And I don't want to, at this time of my life, look back on regret about what I didn't do that I could have done, but I didn't do it because I didn't have enough faith in myself. And so I'm saying to you, please, love yourself enough to really be all you are. Derek Hawkins, he says, only share your dreams and goals with those who are supportive of your goals. Yes, Derek. Especially give up goals such as giving up smoking and other things you want to give up. The story of finding gold is demonstrated in the book Acres of Diamonds. Thank you, Acres of Diamonds. Yeah. And Derek says, Les Brown was labeled uneducatable. Okay? They said he couldn't be taught. He couldn't be taught. But he had a teacher that believed in him, a teacher that told him, you go up to that board and do that problem. And Les said, well, I'm not even in your class. He said, you're in my class now. Go up there and do that problem. And he went up there, and I'm sure he didn't do it perfectly, but he tried. So many of us, we don't try. We don't give ourselves the benefit of the doubt. And so, Derek, thank you so much. Derek Hawkins, thank you for sharing your comments with us. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. And I hope that you continue to watch us and also to share your thoughts with us. Because, again, it's a two-way street, okay? We give not to get, but to really to share with you. And we want to keep in a loop, in a circle. And that's why every Thursday and Sunday, my brother and I come to share with you some food for thought. But you know what? Let me say this to you, Derek, and all those who are watching here. We come to teach, but we also come to learn. And so please share your comments with us, because we're here to teach and to learn.
You know, that point is so valid, because I was trying to think of that earlier, the acres of diamonds. And if I'm almost sure we're on the same page, but nevertheless, let me say from this perspective, and correct me if I'm wrong. Here's a gentleman who had acres of land, you know, and naturally, I'm just going to paraphrase it.
Yes.
You know, he looking for diamonds, gold, and everything else. He was digging all over the place. So he got frustrated and irritated, you know, so he sold the property.
Oh, wow.
And so when he sold the property, somebody else came and found one little nugget in a little stream of water. And when he found that one nugget, it found out the whole area was full of diamonds. Ooh. So this is what we talk about on a regular basis, you know. Your dreams, your vision, your gifts, your talents right there. And then you turn around and get mad because you couldn't find it. You're frustrated because somebody didn't call you to Broadway or L.A. someplace, and somebody took your dream and idea that you never knew who that person was. Now all of a sudden you watching them on TV talk about, well, that was my idea.
Oh, my goodness.
I did that first. Well, who know that? Because you didn't fulfill your dream, your vision, your desire of what was inside of you. You didn't ask anybody. You didn't tell anybody. Yes. And let me say this other part, too, that ties into. Yes. Keep in mind, all of us was nothing before we became something. And, you know, from through the mother's wombs into a child. A child says, help me, lift me up. And the parent, grandparents, whatever, in the playground, when you pick them up, they get excited. They ask for help. And I'm be honest with you. It doesn't matter how old you are. You act like a child sometimes. Ask like a child. It don't mean be as foolish as one.
That's right. That's
because
right.
Paul said when I was a child, I act like a child, but when I became an adult, I put away childish things.
That's right.
So you have to know when to put away childish things. But the bottom line is to be as innocent as a child. Say, hey, look, brother, sister, I don't know. I need this. Can you help me? You see, and then you know those who are walking with you, those who are willing to help you is the one who says, well, you can go do this and you can do that. And see, yes, it becomes hard when you're an adult. It also becomes frustrated for a child who gets mad because nobody won't help me. Mm-hmm. This is where in a lot of life, in a lot of perspective, in a lot of ways that I see it, is the reason why so much happens negatively today. Because it's not about sending somebody away frustrated or mad, because when everyone, every single person at the sound of my voice, those who follow Jesus, right. He did not reject you. He left you with a comfort, the Holy Spirit. I don't care if you're Islam, okay? The Prophet Muhammad did not leave you or reject you. He done everything he can to build that Kaaba. If it's Moses who stood there with God, who answered the call, and open up the sea to help his people cross over to freedom.
Yes.
Or you open up your sea to help somebody else for freedom? Or Buddha. Buddha went out into the wilderness and sat there and prayed when there was a light upon him who spoke to him. See, we can go on. The bottom line is, what are you doing? Is there a dark cloud over you? Is the sun shining? Are you sparkling the light within you to help somebody else fulfill their dreams so they don't have to live and fall into despair? And the other thing, too, when I said prior to, I want to make this clear. When I say live or die, I don't mean literally, unfortunately, you know, those who have lost a lot. But I mean that in a sense to say, don't let your dreams die. Don't let your desires die. And that's what's important.
And again, like I said, success leaves clues, because in the book, another person that Dennis Kimbro interviewed was Tyra Banks. And he says here, at last count. Now, this was this book was written in 2013, so I'm sure it's even better now. At last count, this was in 2013. Tyra Banks's net worth, American supermodel, was estimated at 90 million. But her personal finances were not always this rosy. While Banks doesn't feel the need to own the latest design of this or that, her wardrobe, which features form-fitting, low-cut dresses on the air and jeans in the office, generally fits the budget and tastes of her audience. As she has stated on numerous occasions, I grew up wearing a uniform to school, and if my stylist did not create my outfits to wear on the camera, I would never get dressed. I'm frugal, Banks continued. I have always been this way. When I was young, my mother would give me my allowance, and I would peel off a little each week with the aim of saving a little for that rainy day. A penny saved is a penny earned is more than a proverb. It is a value I look for in others. When interviewing potential candidates to handle financials for my company, I make it my business to ask a question or two regarding their personal spending habits. Why? Because how you spend money reveals a lot about you. And so, again, you don't become a millionaire overnight, but you become a millionaire through wise choices, especially wise choices about your lifestyle and about your money. And again, this program, especially tonight, has been full of fire. And as with all good things, it has to come to an end. And so we got about like 5 minutes left. And I'm going to give it to my brother to wrap things up and to give you a good night. What say you, Ron?
You know, this topic, and we can continue like the field of diamonds.
Ooh, wow.
You see, the thing is, we realize the sparkle that's in front of us. And this opportunity, as the brother started when we first became on this podcast, put it together. There was a thought, there was a vision. And so we continue each and every time, every week we come together. We try to influence, encourage, and we also are inspired by. Okay? Don't just hit the like button and make comments, but also reach out. What can you do? What are you doing to help somebody else in your neighborhood? We are truly appreciative for the comments and the voices near and far. My understanding from California, even somebody from China. But it's a blessing. Seriously, because this is what the conversation is all about. And a couple of things I have here, for example, you know, right quick, let me just read this one. Flaming echoes of poetry. I want to read this. The fairy words of poetry ignites the fire in the archives as the audience holds onto the cascade of lyrics, dancing with soulful grace down memorable lane into the house of spoken words. Poetry speaks with a rush of images as each word moves across the stage, jolting many from their seats, clapping their hands, snapping their fingers, and shifting their feet while shouting for more. Poetry is the foundation of life, whether spoken, sung, whispered, painted, or expressed through meaningful, mature conversation. This is what we talk about. The tone of each verb echoes through the ears, carrying sounds that reveals new stories waiting to be told. There is a deep-seated hidden opportunity for many to reveal their talent before the world falls into regret. Don't leave home without it, and don't bury your dreams in isolation, lamenting over someone who has seized their chance to step out in faith simply because they believe it was time to pursue opportunity through the door, seeking a chance and realizing their dreams are being fulfilled. A long time coming before the door opportunity fades again into the shadows of misery. The fiery echo of poetry resounds loudly as the stage lights gleam across America's Got Talent. The crowd cheers joyfully, and another contestant takes a chance to showcase a new dream unfolding for the world to admire, while tears of happiness dance to a fresh tune never heard before, but long await on that destined day. Never postpone your dreams of breaking free from the hidden agenda of fearing to fight for your right to live life to the fullest. All that's important. Don't let it fade. Don't hide it. You know, use your consciousness. We present to you so much on a regular basis. Even a young lady, Harbin, the attorney, blind and deaf, she fulfills something. Steve Harvey, many others fulfilled a desire, a dream, a craving that nothing was stopping them, regardless of the situation or condition, homeless and no homeless. They were determined. Tyler Perry, all of them. And we can think of many of the Ashford and Simpson was out there. Right. And so look back in your history and find out who was hidden in the dark shadows of life, who was in the trash, who was brought to treasure and became somebody. Those pyramids was not built overnight. There was laborers, kings, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, but wisdom and knowledge. You have to understand what life is and who you are in this very moment. So again, those are closing remarks, but continue to fulfill your dreams and vision and continue to see the light. Okay? You can see clearly, but are you blind about seeing?
Ooh, yeah. And so again, this has been Poetically Speaking, the place for spoken word, where your dreams come to life. So we hope that as a result of this program, that you can clearly see what your future will be. And that takes time, that takes history, but also that takes reaching out to mentors. So don't be afraid to visit your local library, and get the books that you need to reach the goals that you set for yourself. And so I'm Terry Benjamin. This is Ronald C. McCray, and this has been Poetically Speaking. So we say to you, good night, and we'll see you again.